In this video we're exploring the best views in Hampstead Heath from not only the super popular spots like Parliament Hill, but I'm gonna take you to some of my secret unique viewpoints that you probably never even heard about.
We'll also take a small detour to Hampstead Village and a secret park and garden to find a few interesting views. Every place I go and show you in this video is free to visit, public access, making it a great idea for a walk, as that's exactly how Olivia, Alex and myself have decided to spend one recent sunny Sunday.
If it's your first time watching my video, my name is Michael Thomas. I'm a London-based skyline architecture and time-lapse photographer. However, if it's your first time watching a best views in video, I have a whole playlist about best views in, where every video is me going through a different area of London and showing you the best views in that one area. However, in some other videos I actually visit a city in a different country, for example Berlin, and I did a 55-minute long documentary about best views in Berlin, just squeezing it into one long travel documentary type video, so you can also check that out in the same playlist. But in London I sort of do it area by area, and today we're in Hampstead Heath. And we're starting the video from Kenwood Viewpoint. At 112 meters above sea level is one of the highest viewpoints in the greater London area. And you can see everything from pretty much Canary Wharf through the city, London Eye and ending on the BT Tower.
The open space at the north corner of the park is perfect if you want to come for a picnic, a place to chill out and enjoy the skyline.
And this bench is one of the highest benches in London, naturally elevated on a hill with a view. But it's not the highest. And we will visit the highest bench in London with a view later on in this video. And if you walk a little bit forwards toward the skyline, from the Kenwood viewpoint, you get to this spot where I believe the skyline shot of the city cluster from the Shard all the way to the end of City Road, the Shoreditch cluster, is a little bit better, but that's just my personal opinion. Little spot I found just here for a 500mm shot with someone being right in front of the skyline.
The next point of interest on our walk was the secret, not so secret garden, and to get there we would cross the road next to Spaniards Inn, traverse through the Hampstead Heath extension, pass through a lovely residential part of Hampstead and then enter our next planned location for a beautiful woodland.
I have to admit, I've actually never been here, but I've seen so many beautiful pictures from the Pergola that I'm really looking forward to my first visit on a beautiful sunny blue sky and clouds day.
The Pergola is a hidden delight of Hampstead Heath. That's what the website says, and I would wholeheartedly agree with this statement. The garden's architecture is also quite fascinating, hence you see a lot of wedding and portrait shoots in here, not to mention all the Instagrammers.
Okay, this is quite pretty. I did not know if to expect any views towards North London from here, but just always wanted to visit this place, hence it's getting included in this video because it's just cool and you should visit. I've seen quite a lot of videos say that this is like a secret hidden place in London, and I can see why. This is quite pretty, even though there's no views in here. This place really gets better, especially when the sun hits through the pergola and causes all the beautiful shadows. It is quite a place.
After spending a brief half an hour on exploring the park's estate, we exited next to Jack Straw's castle to head to a very unique viewpoint, one that not many actually know about. If you enter Hampstead Heath near Whitestones Pond and take the small path right, you will soon see why.
And this place, at 130 meters above sea level, and especially that bench, we are at the highest naturally elevated part of the Greater London area. There are higher areas in London as far as the boundary goes, but this is the Greater London area, and this is 130 meters, the highest elevated spot. Now what just happened is a typical London weather with beautiful sunshine, but heavy clouds approached. Massive shower, we all got soaked. Thankfully we have rain jackets, but then London disappeared for a while completely. Couldn't see any of the skyscrapers. So now that the skyscrapers suddenly start to reappear, I'm gonna get the 500 out and get sort of the first sun hitting the skyscrapers, which will be happening in a moment, and I think that will look spectacular. It is definitely a cool view for like a 500 or 400mm lens. But it is a little bit obstructed by the trees that with every year they're just growing higher and higher and obstructing more and more of the skyline. But it's a beautiful spot to observe the whole skyline, and just the fact that it's the highest naturally elevated part of Greater London that you can be at 130 meters above sea level. We're literally higher here than some of London's skyscrapers. And apart from views from Hampstead Heath, let's actually try to find some views in between Hampstead. So roughly around the same elevation that we are in here, because the whole area here is about over 100 meters above sea level. Oh, Jesus, this is extreme sun. But yeah, let's try and find some cool views in between the really nice area that Hampstead is. Most of these best views in videos, I actually do a lot of research. I've been to the location many times and I know where the good spots are. But today in here, especially around Hampstead, I don't know many places. I just found a really cool one. However, you have to be here on a probably Sunday or an evening, because you're kind of shooting through a primary school gap. But the view towards the skyline from here is spectacular. That was a great little find. So it's the place right next to Christchurch Passage, also in Christchurch Hill. You can get a glimpse a little bit of Canary Wharf next to City Road clusters right above these houses. So yeah, it's a pretty cool view. And this place right next to the old White Bear, and even though the view towards the Shard is quite narrow, how this road just goes down and turns, it's just a beautiful composition. Back on the grounds of Hampstead Heath, and now we're heading to our penultimate viewpoint, the famous one, the one that's included in top 10 viewpoints of London. I never actually entered Hampstead Heath from this side, so the skyscrapers are sticking out above the trees, but you barely see half of them. Still, a pretty good view that I never knew about. And just before we're gonna get to Parliament Hill, I think it just started raining again. This cloud behind me is an indication that, yeah, it will be raining heavily in a moment. And we are at Parliament Hill. And the view here is popular because it does not disappoint. And it's raining and we're hiding from it underneath the trees that are thankfully located very conveniently right next to the viewpoint. And here's a good tip: if it's raining, you can go slightly down from the top of Parliament Hill, and there's benches where they are covered by these trees, so you're not getting wet yet, you're enjoying this beautiful view. Wow, that was pretty spectacular rainbow that we just got there. Literally going into the Emirates Stadium. Parliament Hill is a fantastic view. Being 92 meters above sea level, it offers spectacular views from even past Canary Wharf east all the way to Vauxhall. You can see the Shard, you can see all the icons of the London skyline from here. That's why it is so popular. Middle of the day, this location can get very hazy because the sun is literally in front of you, and as you're shooting towards the south, that's why everything is a little bit not clear. Around sunset time or at sunrise, where the sun is perfectly at a straight angle towards the city, that's when I think this place really shines, because you can see all the light illuminating the whole city from here. However, as some of you must be photographers that are following me, I have to tell you that I have been here once with a couple of friends at sunrise, and we've been kicked out for having too many professionally looking tripods. So also that can happen to you. But then at another time at midnight, I came here for a perfect alignment of a supermoon rising over the city of London, and I had the 800mm with me that day, and it beautifully worked out. And there was obviously no one here in the middle of the night, so the moon time lapse came out beautifully. Clouds were looking so beautiful that I decided to make at least one short time-lapse 2-second interval. I slapped the 6-stop ND on with a polarizer, so to get a little bit more of these blues, and this is what it came out like. And in summer, when it's nice and warm, beautiful sunshine, it's just a must visit if you're in London, or just even if you're a Londoner, you have to come here. And on the last leg of our walk now, we're going to be climbing back towards the Kenwood viewpoint for the last bit of sun of the day. And we're finishing our walking loop here back at Kenwood viewpoint, where we first started. But at this time of the day, the view is so much better because the sun is literally somewhere towards the west, and it's illuminating the city from this perfect angle. So this is the time, probably best time of the day, to come here for skyline photography around sunset. And thinking about it, actually this would be a fantastic view, even better probably in winter, when there would be no leaves on the trees, so you'd actually see a little bit more of the city. Definitely need to come back here one time in winter. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed all the viewpoints I was able to share with you around Hampstead Heath and nearby in Hampstead too. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe, like and comment what was your best viewpoint and which one do you want to visit now after watching this whole video. My name is Michael Thomas. I'm a London-based time-lapse, cityscape and architecture photographer. You can follow me on at London Viewpoints on Instagram, where I post lots of photos, one-off time-lapses and stories of wherever I visit. And that will be it for today. Heading home. See you later, guys.